Okay, so I did a tier list this season, but we've gotten some huge changes. Basically, Chichanka got a huge buff with his DP, getting a 20% hit damage buff. He now does 20 damage per second per shot. And Warden is now a 3 armor. Yana lost nades. Gridlock gained nades. So I think overall, I want to reevaluate after playing almost half the season and make a new tier list. So this is before, and I'm going to show you after and, reevaluate my decision. Unlike other tier lists that I've done in the past, I'm going to go slowly and show like the before and almost like the after, if that makes sense. So on the left hand side, I'm going to go one by one each operator. Let me just figure out, I'm going to put my face cam right here. Okay, so basically, starting out, let's go on with Ram. Now, Ram looked very overpowered, and she's still very strong, but I don't think she's an S tier operator. When we talk about S tier operators, I think that means always usable, always useful. Technically she is, but technically she isn't, because when I think of S tier operators, I think of operators that can be useful no matter what and can be self-sufficient in its own way, or has utility that's overall the most impactful utility that you can bring at all times. For example, a smoke, a thatcher, a mute. I still think Ram's a great operator, but not that great. Now, going on to the next operator, which is going to be Aruni. I'm going to try to go in order. I still think Aruni is an S tier operator. Same with Azami. I don't think I really need to over-explain too much. They're just both great operators, and they change the landscape of defense. I think Clash, I think I'm going to put Clash in like A. Once again, you can make her always usable and useful, but I don't like picking Clash all the time. So for now, I'm just gonna put her in A. Dokkaebi is going to be an S tier, of course. Same with Flores, because both these operators you can bring on every single site and be useful. Once again, like both of them have great kits, deny some type of information aspect or utility. So I think that they're just fantastic. Goyo is gonna stay in S tier. I think Goyo, he's like the better version of Warden, except just because he has a 1.5 basically. That's why I think that. People only were using Warden for the 1.5 time scope, and I think, Goyo, hands down, is just great on every single map, every single site. And, you can use it solo, duo, or 5-stack and be great. Same with Finir. Now, here's the big iffy. Yana was S tier, but now she has lost grenades. I think that changes just the stance. Like, I would put Yana maybe in B tier. Of course, she can still be very useful. Her losing the grenades is a big hit to her pick rate and how useful she really is. Of course, she's a strong operator, but she's not like an S or A tier operator anymore. Next, we got Cade, which is of course still going to be an S tier operator. Jaeger, S tier in my opinion. Same with Wamai, and also same with Malusi. So I'm just going to throw them up there. Once again, you can bring both of these, all three of these operators, and have it be very useful. I still think Mirror, Mute, Smoke, and Osa are all S tier operators. And I know a lot of you guys are thinking, how can any operator be S tier if almost all of them are S tier? But to be fair, we have so many operators in Rainbow Six Siege now that it only makes sense, to be honest, having these many strong operators. And a lot of them are defenders. But I also put Solus and Thatcher in S, because if they're both on the board, then they are insanely strong. You can use them on any site, and it completely changes how people play, just the game in general. Now, let's go over to A. We have Ace and Brava, which I think, to be fair, I'm gonna get a little bit of slack of this. I think Ace is honestly a B tier operator. He's like a watered down version of like Thermite, and he's just, I don't know, he's just for me. Like, anytime I see like an Ace, I cringe, because like most of the time people, like, for big walls you can't do the job well. And Brava, I'm gonna keep her at A, because she is a great operator, but a lot of the times you need to be in the right team atmosphere to use her properly, because I've seen so many rounds where people are just hacking utility, and what ends up happening is all their teammates die within a minute. So you're stuck in a 1v5 with hacked utility, and it's annoying. Buck is going to be an S tier. I originally put him in A, but as the season progressed, I played Buck more and more, and I think he's just so good. So I think he deserves to be an A. Doc deserves to be still, I mean, Buck is an S, and then Doc deserves to be in A. Frost, the thing that's weird about Frost is I don't think Frost changed very much with the new Frost rework. I really don't, because any good Frost player is going to play around Frost traps, or, you know, not just put it in random corners. So, you know, I think Fuse deserves to be an A as well. And surprisingly for a lot of you guys, Gridlock is going to be S. I think Gridlock having grenades just solidifies her as being such a good operator. So I'm going to keep her in S tier. Capcan is going to go back into A tier. Lesion is going to go in S tier. Lesion has an insane change with his gadget this season, which I didn't think he was going to be that great, but honestly, you can bring him on every single site, solo queue, 5-stack, and make unlimited amount of strats for him. So I think he's just such a good operator. Echo is going to go in A. I'm going to put Maverick into B. Maverick's very underwhelming right now, ever since he lost his grenades. Something about him. But like he's still technically a great attacker. It's just, for me, I feel like Maverick is just one of those side operators at the moment that you use just in case, or like it's just, there's always an interchangeable like operator that you can bring over Maverick, basically, is what I'm trying to say. I'm gonna put Montang into A and Mozzie into A. Both great operators. Everything I said in my last video about them, I think it still stands. I still think that Monty is one of the hardest operators to go up against when you face somebody that can actually use Montang properly. It just takes a huge skill gap. Nomad is going to go into B. I put her in A originally, but I feel like she is very underwhelming with her air jabs being inconsistent. There's a lot of times where you place an air jab and sometimes it just doesn't go off. It's just an inconsistent gadget. And yeah, I honestly rather just have a flank drone and solidify that kill, or, you know, have a claymore, or, you know, 2 claymores stacked up, or even gridlocks. You know, there's so much more I can do, or just like having a flank drone would be so much better in my opinion. Pulse is gonna stay in A. Sledge is gonna stay in A as well. I think Thermite is gonna stay in A. Thermite is a better hard breach, probably one of the best primary hard breaches. Habana, she's a great hard breach, but you know, she does different things, if that makes sense. Thermite, you want him to open a big wall. Habana, you want to open up lines of sight or hatches or destroy zombie barriers. That's why, you know, she has so much versatility. Thermite, you open a goddamn wall. If you use a thermite charge for a hatch, that's a last resort type of thing, and most time it is a waste of a thermite charge, especially when you have hard breach device. So many operators have that now. So Thorn is gonna go in A. She just has that fragging potential, and you know, having a shield just makes her so good. Her razor blooms is good for intel and maybe even kills late round. It's very situational. Ying is definitely an A tier operator still. Same with Zero. I'm moving Zero up to S tier. I feel like Zero is one of those operators that's so overlooked, but if he was to get like a grenade or some type of minor change, he would be picked 10 times more. I just think after solo queuing so much, after being in 5 stacks and playing Zero so much, I see him as being an S tier operator. Castle's going to be an A tier operator, staying in the A. Ash, I feel weird doing this. I think Ash is a C tier op right now. Because like with Ash at the moment, I feel like there's just better operators. Like Buck, for example. He also has a Gong 6. You have hard reach device, then you have a shotgun. Like, you have more bang for your buck utility with Buck and like operators like that. And even like Zofia as well. Zofia's definitely a better version, even her being a 3 armor than Ash. So I'm gonna put Zofia in B. Bandit's gonna stay in B because he is very situational, but he is still super strong. But he is situational once again. Alibi is going to stay into C. She's just underwhelming. She's fun. She's a fun ranked operator. But if I was trying to be competitive and like I was facing a really good team of players, you know, I would really try to utilize this operator in various aggressive ways. But like, once again, when I'm facing very good players, I'm going to probably want to pick somebody else on defense. So Buck is gonna, Blackbeard is going to go in D. Blackbeard is one of the worst and useless operators and selfish operators in the game. Blitz is going to go into B. Amaru is going to go into C because Blitz himself, like, he's one of those playmaking operators. But once again, it's kind of situational. You know, if you know a team plays Warden on Bunker, like on Oregon, for example, you're not going to really want to bring Blitz most of the time. So yeah, it is situational. Capital, I kind of disrespected Capital last video. I'm going to put him in P. Something about Capital, kind of like Zero. Like, even though Zero I feel like is more usable than Capital, it's just Capital, you need a really good team execute to properly use him. Cav and Ella are gonna both go into C tier. Once again, Ella's a fun operator to use, and so can Cav, but once again, they're so situational. I think Finka is an S tier operator now, which is completely funny because I was just talking about how she's the only healer on attack, which is kind of a plus, and that's why I put her in B. But her now having grenades just gives her that fragging potential. And once again, you have somebody that can, you know, heal on attack, which you don't see. So I'm gonna keep her over there. And I kind of disrespected Glaz, but I'm gonna put Glaz into A. I've been playing a lot of Glaz, and I just think that, you know, if you know how to really position yourself properly with Glaz and set yourself up for kills, then he's super strong. B-Man is gonna go into B tier. He's aight, but he's staying where he's at. Same with IQ. Very underwhelming pick. Like, she's cool, she can be useful, but she's a filler type pick. Jackal's gonna go into B. I feel like just Jackal in general, a lot of players like are just too obvious the way they play Jackal, and Jackal's just boring, to be honest. But it's not even that. It's like people, I just find Jackal to just be meh. I don't know how else to say it. He's good some rounds, some maps, but it all depends on how you utilize him. I just don't personally like him. So yeah. Callie is gonna go into B as well. Very situational, but could be strong. Not the weakest. Does need a bit of a buff. I'm gonna put Nock into C. I feel like Nock has been nerfed out of the ass because I guess Ubisoft doesn't like these rat plays that people have. I think she needs a buff where she basically can, you know, when she's in her cloak, she's almost immune to most gadgets. That would be nice. And bring back the silent step and give Cav proper silent step, because if you didn't know, when you're using silent step, you're not actually silent. It's a wild thing to think about. Where did I place Lion last time? I placed Lion in the B tier. I think that's a safe. I think that's safe putting him in B. Yeah, it's a safe. Same with Maestro. Maestro, like, in this meta, he just sucks to play, to be honest. He's too slow. Like, I would like for them to test out Maestro on the TS to be a 2-2 just to see how he plays out. Because I just feel like even Maestro cams on console sometimes, every season, it feels like there's a bug with Maestro cams of them being super fast. But yeah, Oryx is going to go into C. Oryx really, there's no real reason to use him for his gadget, to be honest, man. And Rook is going to go into D. I mean C. Rook, I know I'm going to get a lot of people upset, but like, he's just not that good as much as you guys think. You literally place down your gadget, you run around, you can shoot, you have a 2.0. Overall, he's just underwhelming. Like, he needs a buff of some sort, but like, he's pretty ass, I'm not gonna lie. Sense is gonna go into C. Sense needs a buff as well. Like, their gun is getting buffed, which is cool, but even that, man, like, it's just the gadget. That's my main issue, is the gadget is so clunky. It's very hard to use, especially around a team, and like, nah. Chachaka is going to stay in B. Chachaka staying in B is mainly just because his gadget is so slow. His DP being very strong is interesting, and it's cool, and it's fun to use, but I've been testing out his gadget, man, and that thing takes so long to reload, and it takes so long to just shoot, and sometimes the area of effect is inconsistent. So yeah, and Thunderbird is going to go into B. Twitch is going to go back into B as well. Valk is going to stay in S. Vigil is going to stay into C, and Warden is going to stay into C. Warden technically did get a buff, in my opinion. Him not being a 3-speed, him being a 3 armor, it makes more sense for his gadget. And yeah, but he's just so situational that he's rarely going to be properly used. And for him to be properly used, you need to be in a 5 stack, in my opinion, because then you can have somebody give you ADSs and Wamais, or, you know, playing around a strat. Like, you can pick Warden and then have an off chance that somebody might go Ying or Blitz, or, you know, bring flash grenades or whatever. But most of the time, there's just better defenders in Siege that you can be bringing other than Warden. And that's kind of my thing with most of these operators I'm placing. There's most of the time better operators that you can be picking. So let me know down in the comments your thoughts and opinions on today's tier list update. I know you guys might think I'm wild for this, especially having Ace and B, and yeah, but yeah, let me know your thoughts and opinions, guys, and let me know what rank you are and how you're enjoying this season of Rainbow Six Siege. And besides that, guys, have a wonderful day, and thank you for watching.